For some, it's progress. Others furious at the clearing of vegetation they see as nature's barrier from storms. But Fort Rocky now an entertainment zone in spite of ongoing opposition from eco-activists and residents of Port Royal.
Party time at Fort Rocky. Good times rolling on inside the heritage site. Earlier, however, adjoining land cleared, critics say, as a parking lot for revelers, infuriating some concerned about the likely impact of removing nature's buffer against the nearby sea.
Over there is just natural vegetation.
Was natural
vegetation.
O'Neill Chuck heads a Port Royal community group.
If you look at the land, it's higher than the road over there. So once the water come over, the road is going to be flooded. With the breeze and storm surges, it'll carry the sand now onto the road.
That worry echoed by environmentalist Diana McCauley.
I know we were told that no mangroves were cleared in doing this work, but I don't know how you can tell that. Because if you go a bit further down, you'll see there's mangroves in among the other kind of vegetation. There was a low dune at the front. You can see this area has sand dunes, which is a protection from storms. That's very important. So all of it was cleared. It was just mowed down, every living thing flattened.
Macaulay laying the blame squarely at the feet of the Ministry of Culture and Entertainment.
I'm totally shocked. I'm particularly shocked at the source. So this was a state agency that did this. The ads for the ads for the party say powered by the Ministry of Culture, Entertainment, Sport. So it was done by a state agency. It was tolerated by the environmental regulator.
The regulator in question, NEPA, did issue a stop order to the bulldozing at Fort Rocky. But too late. The damage had already been done, leaving folks like O'Neill Chuck fuming but resigned, and frustrated that, as he claims, no one spoke with Port Royal residents before the bulldozers moved in. Do you find it surprising that the people who actually live in the area were not consulted?
Surprising? No. Disappointed? Yes. We're not surprised that things like this happen because this is Jamaica, right? But we are disappointed that it still continues to happen, that this is what we're still telling the younger generation, that this is how we do things. You have some power, you have some authority, go ahead. Ignore the law, ignore the people, ignore all the damage.
Culture and Entertainment Minister Babsy Grange with a very different take on what played out at Fort Rocky, and points to the Jamaica National Heritage Trust for what she says were missteps made.
JNHT should have applied for a permit, and that was a misstep, but they eventually applied and they have been granted. The impression given that major damage was done is not correct. Whatever missteps may have taken place by the JNHT, they intend to correct it. They've been instructed to correct it. But I just want to emphasize the impression given that an entire area was cleared is not true. Most of that land had nothing on it. I am not defending anything. The Jamaica National Heritage Trust was charged in having the site prepared. From 2019, this announcement was made, and I know that there were consultations from that time through to now. Based on the report I've received, communication may have broken down, and I have asked the JNHT to ensure that whatever has to be done to repair the communication damage or to repair the site where anything was moved that should not have been moved, that it should be addressed.
What you're talking about, though, is some sort of massive breakdown in communication.
I'm not defending anything. JNHT had the responsibility to do the job. I'm not throwing them under the bus either. There was no massive clearance. Yes, the JNHT should have followed certain procedure, which they did not. And there was no plan for that area to be a massive parking area. For utility, and limited parking.
Jelly Adrian plies the road to the airport, and he's on board with bringing an entertainment zone to Port Royal, even at the cost to the natural habitat.
It's good for the economy, because so far, entertainment, you know how much it gathers? So much. From the chicken man right up to Gloria's, because support in the area is good revenue.
So you're not worried that now, if you have a storm surge in the area, the water is going to have unimpeded access to the road?
I think they're going to replace it, because they couldn't be removing trees, not mangrove, but trees, and not replacing. Just like they did the airport road, put in boulders. They're renovating the airport now. They replace it with boulders, work in construction right now.
But as far as you're concerned, the benefits are already reaching people like you in Port Royal?
I sell 2 more coconuts.
Some people will say, O'Neill Chuck, that this is the price you pay for progress.
The price is determined by the person who is feeling it, and we don't want to pay this price. This leaves us too vulnerable. This activity is going to impact the quality of our life, and we need to be consulted. There are small things, intangible things that when you live in an area that only you know, not persons who sit in an office and make decisions.
Good Times partygoers bussed in from nearby locations where they'd parked their cars.
The park and ride was always part of the plan. There was a parking plan with the development of Fort Rocky as an entertainment site.
NEPA now talking about replanting the bulldozed acreage.
So a lot is going to depend on the weather, right? If we have a series of storms coming through, then even restoration work that is done is going to be destroyed again, right? So you're going to need a period of time where you don't have any storms for restoration to work. So yes, there are people who do ecological restoration, but at a cost. Think about it. Taxpayers pay to destroy it, and taxpayers are going to have to pay to restore it. And you know, the natural environment, of course, is of primary concern to me, but this is also a heritage site, a historic site. And apparently the Jamaican National Heritage Trust also had no problem. There's lots of pictures online of a little tower in the middle of the fort being destroyed.
Right, so this area is another area that was cleared for the event, Good Times. All of this was grass, bush, vegetation, cacti, and so forth. And if you look along the edges, you see where they pile it up. And also here, they knocked out the wall to put in a gate. And this was part of the original fort.
As for Port Rocky, O'Neill Chuck is set against it being designated as an entertainment zone.
We don't want that. Port Royal has been known historically, internationally, as a quiet, sleepy, peaceful fishing village. When you bring this here, you're taking away all of those, plus safety. You cannot pay for those intangibles. They're priceless. You cannot pay for it. No amount of money, no amount of restitution, you cannot pay for it. They are doing to Port Royal what the colonial masters did to Jamaica. Just come and do what them feel like, and then say, take it.
Residents now worried about fallout from the next weather event that may hit Port Royal.
And now when they send the buses over, they'll have another reason to say this is why you need to leave, because they did it.
People out there are saying now when there's another weather event, they're exposed.
That is not true.
The people in authority should be ashamed of themselves for what has happened out here.
Bitterly ashamed.
I would like to go out there with Dan McCauley, along with the JNHT folks. As minister, I'd like to go out there with her and have them explain to her what happened.